Hello and welcome. In this video, we are discussing about SAP ABAP Exception handling. An exception is a problem that arises during the execution of a program. So when an exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program application terminates abnormally, which is not recommended. Therefore, these exceptions are to be handled. So exceptions provide a way to transfer control from one part of a program to another. ABAP exception handling is built upon three keywords: raise, try, catch, and cleanup. Assuming a block will raise an exception, a method catches an exception using a combination of the try and catch keywords. A try catch block is placed around the code that might generate an exception. So the syntax of using try and catch: try block code that raises an exception, and catch block exception handler M, then catch block exception handler R, then cleanup block to restore consistent state, and end try. Rise. So exceptions are raised to indicate that some exceptional situation has occurred. And usually an exception handler tries to repair the error or find an alternative solution. The try block contains the application coding whose exceptions are to be handled, and this statement block is processed sequentially, and it can contain further control structures and calls of procedures or other programs. It is followed by one or more catch blocks. Catch. A program catches an exception with an exception handler at the place in a program where you want to handle the problem, and the catch keyword indicates the catching of an exception. Cleanup. The statements of the cleanup block are executed whenever an exception occurs in a try block that is not caught by the handler of the same try and try construct. So within the cleanup clause, the system can restore an object to a consistent state or release external resources. That is, cleanup work can be executed for the context of the try block. Raising exception. So exception can be raised at any point in a method, function, module, subroutine, and so on. So there are two ways an exception can be raised. Exception raised by ABAP runtime system. For instance, y equal to 1 or 0, and this will result in a runtime error of type CXSY0 divide. Exceptions raised by programmer. So raise and create an exception object simultaneously. Raise an exception with an exception object that already exists in the first scenario. So this was a brief discussion. Then attributes of exception. So the 5 attributes and methods of exceptions. First, a text ID used to define different texts for exceptions and also affects the result of the method getText. Previous. This attribute can store the original exception that allows you to build a chain of exceptions. GetText. This returns a textual representation as a string as per the system language of the exception. So this was a brief discussion on SAP ABAP exception handling. Thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.